Good morning, everyone, and welcome to part number 6 of building Uncle Dorkel. Well, the silicone is set up, but I'm going to add more. But before I do that, I'm going to try to paint these eyes here as much as I can. Paint them white where they show. You know, needless to say, I don't need to paint the back of them, obviously. No point in that. And then once I get them painted, I'm going to put more silicone in here. On that board that they sit on because I need the strength. But I don't want to risk doing that until after I paint them because, like I say, the paint will never take. So we're going to get started on this right now. I bought some Rust-Oleum Ultra Cover, semi-gloss white. I wanted to buy the Glidden, but they had them in quartz, I guess, and that's too much. Because I want to touch up my front porch also. So I could probably use this to touch up some bad spots I got there. But anyways, this is the smallest can I can get. So I'm going to do the eyes. I got to find a little brush. You recognize this can. This is where I did the water toss. So I keep my little brushes in here. Let's see what I can use in there now. I have the foam brushes too, but they're a little too big for this job. So we'll try this. We're going to go mix up some. I'm going to stir the paint up now. The first thing I want to do is to try to sand the eyes. So I got a very fine emery cloth here. I put this tape here. This is just temporary because there's a bead of silicone here set up, but I don't want to get the the silicone has a when you get, even though it's cured, it might have a coating that might stick onto the wood, the bare wood here. Anyways, I'm going to sand these a little bit. So that, again, I should have done all this painting and sanding and everything before I put them together. But we'll do the best we can with the situation that we got under the conditions at which we're working. Just a little sanding. I'll paint as much as I can. I'm not worried about getting paint on the wood inside or anything. I'm just mainly concerned with picking up any silicone residue, which will screw up the paint. These are pretty good, but I just wanted to sand them a little bit here. Like I say, I don't even care if I get white paint on here, because this part of the eye is not going to show through too much. As a matter of fact, before I paint these, I'm going to cut away a little bit here. Same one here. I'm going to do that right now, and I'll come back on this video. Alright, now I can get the edge of the eye and be sure to paint them, because the cover that's going to go over here will obviously look as much as possible like a human eye socket area. So I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to finish sanding. Bring these eyes over as far as I can. Nothing fancy with the sanding. I just want to get it a little roughened up. If I had this white paint on hand, I would have painted these eyes, even though it probably would have got dirty handling them. But at least I would have had one coat on here, and would have been better. Okay. Now we're ready to stir the paint up and get started. Alright, I'm ready to start painting. I don't know if I'm in camera or not. Like I said so many times, trying to be a one-man show here with the video is not an easy job. Probably going to take more than one coat. I think spraying this would be a lot better, but that's not possible with this being in the head like it is right now. Again, I don't want to get any paint on the top and the very bottom because it'll cause a binding action on the pivots. You don't need to worry about getting paint way down inside there because you're not going to see it anyhow. Now this is over as far as I can go. So I'll reach in there as far as I can with the brush. Good. Remember, I'm no artist with stuff like this. Alright. We'll do the other eyeball off camera. I'll show you the results afterwards. Alright, this is only the first coat. Only the first coat, and if you can see in the back, you can see my black marks where I marked the X's for the sticks, but that's not a big deal. You're not going to really see that, but I reached in there with that little brush and got as much as I could. We're going to let this dry now. We'll come back on it in a little while, put a second coat on it, and then I'm going to silicone this, and when I do that, then that's got to just sit for the day and come back on it when it sets up. Alright, I got the board siliconed in the best I can here. Had to use a stick to put the silicone on to get it up in there. It basically makes it stronger now. It's pretty strong now because I put silicone in yesterday. But it's going to need another coat of paint, but it's tacky, just a little bit tacky. So I'm not going to try to put another coat of paint on it right now. But later on in this video I will. So we'll just have to let this set up and we'll come back on it in a while. Well, this project is under constant change. Now originally I was going to have this cut and then I was going to bend this down and go into this hole. But as you can see, the main throw is on the outer edge here. If I use this, it's just going to sit there and pivot just like this would. Now I had to cut out the hole to get this more centered. So what I'm going to do is put a little piece of wood here to hold this down. Boy, that looks evil, doesn't it? Anyways, there's only one coat on there, but I'm not going to put the second coat on just yet because I got to get this apparatus to work here. So I got to take, and I'll use this as a pointer, I got to take and make something that goes from here into that hole. I haven't figured out what yet. So the eyes are centered at this point here. So this is pretty well centered with the stick down here. If it isn't, I can bend the rod, put a vice grip on this end and turn it at the other or whatever. But I pretty well, it's not easy bending. This brass is real hard to bend, especially in a confined area like where I'm working here. So I've got to figure out something to go from here to the center of this hole here. I'll figure something out. I don't know what yet. Okay, lots of trial and error here. I tried brass to make up a little horseshoe, but I tried to bend it over a little too much and it broke off, so I used a steel, my regular steel rod here for this piece. So here's how it works. Now I got to secure this, but I can't push this here. If I push it up here, it binds and hits these studs. I can't cut these back any more than this. So we simply mounted that in that nice little piece of thing I found in my junk box there. And the two little ears from these, well, this is the brass one, but this gives you an idea. These two little ears went down, one on each side of this, and it enabled me to have the, this has to slide as it turns. It's not perfect yet, of course, and it's not self-centering. I don't know if I'm going to be able to achieve that or not. This is all experimentation. That's all it is, but we want smooth movement. And then I'll probably put a spring from here to here and here to here, and that might achieve the self-centering. That's the only way I can think of making that self-centering. But we'll deal with that later on. If you look down here at the head stick, this is basically the center. So if it's in this position, the eyes should be self-centered, but it should return to that position anyways. There's going to be a little juggling around on this because, like I say, my finger don't really want to stay in there. It kind of tends to fall off at the extreme end, which would be this end. But as you can see with the eyes, you probably can't see without the irises in there, but this is the center right here. So it's pretty darn close here. I could bend this a little bit if I need to, but I got the throw. I got plenty of throw. The eyes go all the way over and hit the side of the head. The sticks do. And this side hits the... So this is plenty. This is perfect. Of course, I'm not going to be able to make the eyes look up and down. That's too much complication of the mechanism. The same with blinkers. I can't do that either. I mean, heck, I'm lucky to be able to get this far with it. So we'll come back on it in a little while here. I got to do some more work on it. Okay, I got the thing working. I put a piece of rubber hose on the end of that. Kind of keep it from slopping around in there a little bit. Like this situation here, I got a big problem here because I can't get the swing. This is the full swing here, left and right of the eyes. Works perfectly. Except I can't get that swing with my finger. I only can do a little movement like this. Right now the eyes are already to the right. Now to the left. Well, in order for me to make that go to the left, I gotta literally turn my hand. I can't just do it with a finger motion. It's too much of a swing, and I don't know how I'm gonna cope with that. So I tell you, I'm having more trouble with the controls on this thing than anything else. If I only had instructions as to how to make the neck controls, I would have had this project pretty well along. There was no problem with this because on the internet I found some pictures of how the various mechanisms were done, and so I kind of adopted that idea, and that's working out really, really well. It's just down at the stick here. I can't get that to work. It's such a big throw, and I don't know how to tighten it up. So I think we're going to end it today. I put on a second coat of white paint on the eyes. I even did the backs. Didn't really have to, but I did. So that part is all right. Everything seems to be shaping up. If you notice, I took the top off. I cut the top off the head so I can get at the put that extra piece of hardware in there to make the eyes turn. So everything in there, including the wood here that I put in to hold this in, kind of like a centering, and I can remove it or adjust it if I have to, because I only got 2 wood screws here. Nothing fancy. In fact, it's pretty crappy looking in there, but this is the biggest issue right here. I have not figured out how I'm going to be able to modify that to make that work with just a short finger throw. I don't know if I can overcome that or not. Well, this is the end of part 6. We'll see you on part 7.